are the New York Knicks. I'm back, rocking in New York. Well, it's the Knicks. New York. We are the New York Knicks. New York. For this new season we're about to enter, the Knicks taking no shorts, it's like winter. New York, New York.
New York be about the Knicks, huh?
But the best thing about New York City is K-N-I-C-K-S.
Everybody say go New York, go New York, go!
Hey everybody, welcome to the New York Knicks podcast, episode 504, part of Dash Radio, the Lineups Podcast Network at lineups.com, the Big Heads Media Network at bigheadsmedia.com, and you can go to the New York Knicks podcast.com/ticket club and use code NYKP for 20% off an annual membership. We're almost out of time. How you doing, Mark?
Wait, is the ticket code NYKP as in Kristaps Porzingis?
That's why I did it, yeah. I thought he was going to be on the team for longer.
Are you whatever.
It's Knicks podcast. KP.
Doesn't it sound like yeah. No, I obviously thought that. By the way, the Mavericks are currently beating the Clippers.
So it's playoffs. I figured we'd talk about playoffs today because
yes,
why not? We have 4 more months of non-Knicks stuff.
Do you think you could change the opening song to the Bob Marley song "No Woman, No Cry"?
Mm-hmm.
But it just every time it says "No Woman," you go basketball. No basketball, no Knicks basketball, no cry. Could that be? It'd be good, like having you do just talk over the song.
I'll get right on that.
More work for you. You're gonna do it?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's playoff basketball. The playoffs have started because when do the playoffs normally start? April?
Yeah, they usually start in April. They're now starting in August, and games are on at 1 in the afternoon. Or if you're on the West Coast, they're on at 10 a.m.
They're trying to get this stuff in and done. I heard Bill Simmons' podcast, which I guess he had out today. He said there's a breaking news that they are rumor that I guess they were planning to start the finals on September 28th or 30th. Around then, they're going to try to start the finals a week earlier. So they're trying to get as many. They're trying to condense this to get it done. Players aren't traveling. There's no flights between games. You can get games in sooner, I guess. And I guess players are apparently also getting annoyed that's taking so long. I guess there's been complaints that
yeah, it's ridiculous that there's 3 and 4 day gaps. In the 90s, when transportation was worse, there was games every other day, no matter what. And then all of a sudden, they can't do it.
Well, there aren't these same gaps now, right? For this playoff, the gaps aren't there, right?
Right. For this, it's back to the way it was. Everybody plays every other day. It's back to like old school playoff schedule, which I love. Yeah.
So they said they're trying to basically eliminate teams sitting around for 4 or 5 days in between series. They're trying to
it's a problem they created themselves. The solution is make the schedule every other day.
You think the NBA should just play in a bubble going forward?
I mean, if that's what it takes to get back to every other day, then yes. Because seeing a game and then be like, oh, I can't wait for game 2 in 4 days, like that's ridiculous.
It also kind of just like you'd want it if a team plays a backbreaking game, you'd want to see them play maybe the next night or the night after, not like 4 days so everyone can rest up for the next game.
Well, that and it's 3 months for playoffs is also ridiculous.
Yes. Very, very ridiculous. So basically, we're in middle of August. The playoffs just started, and they should be almost done in a month.
That's great. I love it.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good. A month and a half, they should be basically over. Anyway, Knicks news. I think the Knicks hired some more people for their front office. There's nothing going on in Knicks world besides like, hey, we signed someone else for our front office. And
right.
Does any other team be like, hey, guess the big signing we have? You signed a player? No, we signed a guy to work in accounting. We're letting you know.
We signed a data analyst. So
that's literally what they're announcing these days, which is fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
that's why we're talking about playoffs today.
the big Knicks news is the draft is not the draft, but the draft lottery is this Thursday. And are they going to do it like at 1 o'clock, or are they going to do it at night?
Who knows?
I don't know, but so some playoff games during the day, but I imagine it'll be a night thing. But draft lottery, Knicks right now are sitting at 6th. I'm going to hit simulate lottery. Let's see what happens. The Knicks pick 10th. How is that goddamn possible?
Well, they have a
I
50% chance of picking 7th or worse.
If the Knicks pick 10th, I don't. I'm going to let the coronavirus win. The Knicks win. Pick 10th.
I mean, it's going to be really hard to do shows.
I'm going to. Oh, I hit simulate lottery again. Knicks pick 1. Got the top pick.
All right.
So more like that, less like the. I didn't even realize it was possible for the Knicks to pick 10th.
Yeah, I think you could pick like 4 or 5 spots below. Something.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Can you? By the way, so the if the Knicks. Okay, can we do a 15-minute reaction emergency episode for after the draft lottery, or are we going to wait 2 weeks for the next show?
We'll see what happens. If they pick like 7th, like I have nothing to say. I literally have nothing to say. I don't know who's going to project it.
What number would get you to do a show? 1 through 3?
I guess. Even then, it's like, okay, I didn't research anybody who's in the draft yet, so
pretend you research something. Pretend you're prepared. We at least could be excited. Be like, oh, Knicks gonna get a top 3 pick in a mediocre draft.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
NBA playoffs going on. Series they've already started today. They had the play-in game.
Right. So the way it works is it was Portland, Memphis. Memphis would have had to beat Portland twice, but Portland only had to beat Memphis once.
Not a fan of that. I mean, I actually feel like they should do the play-in game every year, but I'd rather have a 1-game thing instead of 2 games. What do you think?
Well, it ended up being 1 game because Portland won.
Yes, but I'd rather see I don't want to see Portland have a second chance. If Memphis wins the game, they just go.
You know what I thought was a little annoying? Phoenix came back, won all 8 games, and then yeah, you're still not in the playoffs. Bye.
They just missed it. How did they sweep the table or run the table?
I mean, they were gelling right before the break, so I guess it kind of makes sense.
So I was thinking about this. We always going back to the Knicks. Every year you have it's pathetic every year, but we always have it's always basically the tanking Knicks versus you never tank. Every win matters.
Mm-hmm.
And usually it seems like the people who say the Knicks should tank are probably right because the Knicks are a disaster and they change the whole roster the next year and they have no talent, no core of talent. Phoenix, they have a young core. This is when winning matters. It doesn't matter they go to the playoffs. Winning these 8 games, I feel like that propels their franchise forward.
Well, because they already have 2 or 3 pieces of guys that they're going to keep long term.
Right. Losing those games, there's no benefit to them. I guess you got to get a higher draft pick, but you want the young guys at some point to be able to turn it on.
Yeah. But the thing is, you want to stop tanking when you have your core in place.
Right. And Phoenix, they've got Ayton, they've got Booker, they've got
I mean, Baines is a little older, but they got Frank the Tank. Oubre was looking really good.
They
got Saric. They got Rubio, Saric. I mean,
and Booker and Ayton alone, you want these guys to start winning at some point. So I don't know. I'm a Phoenix fan. If I'm a Phoenix fan, this is almost the best outcome because you could actually get a decent lottery pick. Plus, you had that run at the end of the year where you're going to go to the next year and be like, we actually have something to build on. Plus, we get another lottery pick.
Well, yeah, the majority of those players are going to be back next season. So you're like, all right, look, we feel like we're a playoff team. Let's actually make that a reality next season. Whereas with the Knicks, it's like, okay, 3/4 of the guys are gone.
Yes.
But we got those wins for the guys who are not here anymore.
And included in our young core is Ron Baker. So, right. It doesn't matter at all.
Right. It's like, okay, we want to trade half the young guys, but let's get some wins for them.
Right. If the season of this year was RJ Barrett and KP were on the team, you could say, okay, we're getting it's kind of coming together. We want to see some wins. If RJ Barrett's the only, I guess Mitch, if you don't have that much in your roster, you need to go to the talent pool again, I guess. Like,
Yeah, I'm still not
he,
sold. I know Mitch got the all-time field goal percentage record, which is fine. It's great, but he's still only playing 20 minutes a game. And
right. That also, if he's scoring 20 points a game, that's an awesome record. At 10 points a game on mostly lobs.
right, yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm
I
not
like
saying like, oh, the center position set going forward.
right,
Like,
right. I think Mitch is definitely a key piece going forward. I like him to be a starting center, but you're right. He's not a lock for that position yet.
right. I mean, I guess
He's
Barrett's the best young guy on the roster, and all right. He's all right.
he didn't have an amazing like. I think he's a lot of potential. I'm excited about him, but it wasn't the best rookie season.
Let's just say we need more draft picks before we say, hey, let's not tank and try and make the playoffs.
Right. If the Knicks were in this thing and they won 8-0, you'd be like, what was the point of that?
Right.
Great. Julius Randle went off. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Wayne Ellington just rediscovered his shot. This is helpful. We'll see you later, Wayne Ellington. Anyway, okay. Let's do. I figured we can go through all the series, talk about who we think we're going to win, and then I thought to add a thing to it. We can say why the team is going to win, who are favored, how they're going to blow it.
Okay.
You like that?
Sure.
I don't care if you like it. Sure. Let's do it. Pick a series, Jay.
All right. Let's go with Utah, Denver.
Oh, by the way, should we just mention there were a couple series today? Or I guess we can talk as we talk about the games. We'll talk about the ones that I've played already.
Okay.
Go on.
Utah, Denver.
Utah, Denver. So they played already. They played earlier today. Denver won in a thrilling overtime game. Donovan Mitchell scored 57 points, the third most points in a playoff game, and
he broke Karl Malone's franchise record.
What would you say?
He broke Karl Malone's franchise record of 50.
Pretty darn awesome. So what do you think about the series? And Jamal Murray was awesome today as well.
I think these are two pretty evenly matched teams. I think it's going to be a really good series.
Yeah. I feel like, Utah, who are they missing? They're missing someone good, right?
Well, they're missing Conley.
Missing Conley, who he'll be back, but he left for the birth of his son, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like Denver's the more athletic team here, and I think that's gonna matter.
And they're also, I think they're deeper.
They're a really deep team.
I mean, they just had guy after guy coming off the bench, and you're like, oh crap, he's on the team too. And it was like, what's his face? Porter Jr. looked like garbage after the first quarter, and they're like, okay, well, we got like four other guys. Hey, we'll put in Grant, and now Grant's gonna kick ass. They're just so deep.
They have too many guys to throw at you. By the way, Michael Porter? Any regrets the Knicks didn't draft him?
No.
Was there anyone on this podcast that was saying the Knicks should draft him at the time?
I think so. Okay,
just checking.
Your streak remains intact.
I was like, let's draft Porter, and the Knicks fans like, he's injured, and this season we're going for the title, so we can't wait on him. Someone argued with me on Twitter. They're like, the Knicks couldn't do it because he had injuries, and the Knicks and KP was already injured, so you couldn't have another injured guy. I'm like, why? How about they both sit out the season and then come back the following year?
Worked for Philly.
Seemed to work for Philly. Though Philly might. We'll get to Philly. So what do you think? How many games?
I think this is going at least 6. I'm going to go Denver in 6.
I would agree with both your takes on that. Yeah, I think 6 in Denver. For Utah to win this, I would have said Donovan Mitchell has to go off. He did go off, and they still didn't win that win.
Yeah.
So I think Denver has too many players and too deep to be beat here. You'd want Gobert to be more of a factor. I don't see how they're going to lose. I don't see it. If anything, I could see this going in 5. Denver finishing him off early.
Yeah, I could see that too. I mean, Jamal Murray's so good.
You also, I mean, Jokic is so good. Also, even though he didn't have a monster game today.
He had
But like
one of the most ridiculous passes I've ever seen, though.
Which
He
pass or whatever.
caught it, and it looked like he had only a fraction of a second to look, and he one hand threw it full court right into the hands of I believe it was Grant. Like there was like 3 Jazz around, and he did the pass perfect. It was ridiculous.
You have to think if you're Denver, this is one of those years where you're like, we could get to the finals.
Yeah.
I know we're saying this series is close, but Denver is one of the deepest teams in the West. There's no obvious favorite in the West anymore. Golden State's out, so why don't you have a shot?
Yeah, absolutely.
There's so many guys in this team that can go off. Obviously, Jokic. Porter didn't look great today, but he can go off other nights. Jamal Murray looked great. You got Grant. They have they have a very, very deep team. And they have Noah Vonleh, so they can stop Giannis in the finals.
They're one of the 2 teams I'm rooting for in the playoffs.
What's the other team?
Thunder.
Anything else more? Okay, why? So how will Denver blow this? Or how would Denver blow this is my question. Pick the favorite. How would they blow this?
It would have to be Donovan Mitchell getting 57 points a game every game and just keeping them in it.
Yeah, I mean, he just goes crazy. They hit a ton of threes. Jordan Clarkson plays awesome. I don't know. Ingles goes crazy.
Ingles is great. I would love to have
great.
Ingles on the team.
But we have to point out the Knicks also. Ex-Knicks. Moutier's on Jazz. So that's also maybe if Moutier's not allowed to play, that'll help the Jazz.
That would definitely help. Yeah. All right. Next series. Bucks Magic.
Bucks Magic.
So the betting odds are usually minus 200, minus 300, right?
Could you just tell me what does that mean? So minus 200 means you have to bet 100 to get.
I think
200.
I'm not even sure. I just noticed that it's always 200, 400. They have the odds for this at Milwaukee minus 15,000. I've just never seen anything like that.
That's insane. So it would basically take magic for Orlando to win this series.
Yeah.
And tomorrow's also they're the 1:30 game because obviously they're the 1:30 game. What if any? I'm going to say Bucks in 4. I'm going to say they just destroy the Orlando.
I'm going to say that I would be surprised if any game was within 20 points.
I mean, I don't. I disagree on that. I think Orlando the scores will end up being closer than. You might also have a game with some garbage time point. The games will not be close, but some will end up closer than that.
Yeah, I don't think they will.
A 3 at the buzzer. They lost by 19.
Yeah, I don't have much to say to this series.
Orlando's not looking great. I don't know where Orlando's even going. Yeah. Okay, how do the Bucks blow this?
Giannis and Middleton both don't play.
They both get COVID?
I didn't want to go there, but I mean that's basically the only thing that's going to stop them. They need
Giannis is I'll get ready for this. I'll get ready for I have such little faith in Orlando. I'm going to go to a COVID party before the series starts.
With Gobert.
By the way, Donovan Mitchell seems like he's okay from the coronavirus.
Yeah. I mean, Gobert looked fine too. I mean, these guys are some of the healthiest people on the planet with how much they exercise and stuff. So it's not really shocking that they would recover.
The CDC is actually recommending the best way to fight the coronavirus is to become an NBA player.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. Yeah, Makes sense.
Become an NBA player. It seems like you're good. So everyone listening, become an NBA player. Yeah. Anyone in Orlando that's gonna?
No.
Vukovic just goes insane.
No.
It's
the
only way Milwaukee loses if they're like Giannis, just take the series off and they find Orlando could beat them without.
I honestly think they
if
could
Milwaukee
win
did not have Giannis, what would the series be? I
Milwaukee in 6.
was gonna say Milwaukee in 5. Okay, next series.
Raptors Nets.
Raptors Nets. So they had game 1 today. The Raptors. I mean, the Nets are playing really well for a team with not much of a roster anymore.
This is going to be another really quick series. Raptors in 4.
Yeah, I don't see how the Nets, like the Raptors are like, we're on, we're ready, we're full throttle, and the Nets are like, hey, is Katie home? Does he want to play?
It's crazy how good the West Coast series are and how bad the East ones are.
There are a lot of not so good series here.
They're all in the East.
Yeah, I mean
So
there are a lot of.
This is a sweep, right?
Yeah, I can't see how it could not be. It's not going to be a sweep.
Yeah. They don't have Dinwiddie.
So,
they don't have Irving. They don't have Durant. I mean,
they don't have so much. So here's what I was going to say about the series. So Fred VanVleet, I know they're Knicks fans. That you hear other Knicks fans talk. You hear like other shows, everything, and they're like, well, I don't know if VanVleet's worth the money. You know, maybe if he signs a 1-year deal, okay, maybe I give him like 3 years, $60 million. If the Knicks want him, how much do they have to pay him, Jay?
max.
Yeah, it's max or very goddamn close to like a 4-year, $100 million contract.
Yeah.
Why in God's name? First of all, is Toronto going to pay him?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, Toronto's going to pay him. Toronto's a really good team. They're going to make him a really good offer. The only way he's going to leave that really good offer and a really good team is to get goddamn over the top paid.
And even then, he might not. If they say they win this year, why would you not go for a three-peat instead of playing for the Knicks?
Fair enough. But Toronto's probably not going to win the title this year.
What if they make the finals, which is very realistic?
I mean, they got to go through Milwaukee, who looks damn good. But
I mean, I would say they're almost a lock to make the conference finals. You could talk yourself into like we're one step away from winning it.
Who do they have next round?
They have, it would be 4-5, so it'd be Pacers Heat.
Pacers Heat. I don't know, the Heat. I think the Heat Toronto is going to be not to give away my next pick, but I think the Heat Toronto is going to be a really good series. But
so Heat and how many? We'll just go right into that series.
Well, I was just going to say, VanVleet, give him a huge deal. The only other free agent, just side note in the Knicks, Sacramento is coming into a bad cap situation.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about Bogdanovich? Bogdan.
He's a good shooter.
Would you give him?
I mean,
he's a good shooter, a solid defender. Sacramento's in a bad position because they just paid your boy
Healed.
Yeah, they just paid Healed. They're gonna have to pay De'Aaron Fox. I don't know if they really can pay Bogdanovich. I think he's a restricted free agent. I have to double check. Would you give him a huge offer? If you're not getting VanVleet, I feel like he's one of the more attractive free agents. He's young. He can shoot. It's more than what most Knicks can do.
I would like him, but then you still have the problem of having no point guard.
Well, you have a problem of having, no matter what you do, the Knicks have open positions.
I know, but point guard is the biggest problem.
Well, you're probably going to draft a point guard this year. Like, in theory, you can draft a point guard and play him alongside VanVleet, who plays on point. He plays on and off the ball because he plays with Larry.
Yeah, but we just established that the Knicks aren't getting VanVleet.
They're probably not getting VanVleet. So why not throw a bunch of money? And Bogdanovich is not young. He's 27, so he's not like super young. But I might throw some money at him.
Sure. I mean, I'd rather throwing money at a guy like that than a guy like Portis.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the free agents. It's really not a.
No, it's a bad free agent class. It looks like it's not a great draft. This is great.
Yeah, I mean, here are the guys you can throw money at. You can throw money at Gordon Hayward, Paul Millsap, DeMar DeRozan, Otto Porter, Andre Drummond. You're not getting Anthony Davis.
All these guys are like 30, up.
Worst goddamn year of free agency. So either you punt on The problem is next year, which is supposed to be a much better year, you're not getting anyone either. Like, so 2021, obviously much, much better, much better.
Yeah.
But and those guys are like attractive free agents, so they're not going to come to the Knicks. Here are the guys in the following year. You got like Chris Paul, who's too old, obviously. LeBron, Kawhi, Blake Griffin. I mean, maybe you could throw money at Blake Griffin, but like Detroit's not that great with him, and he's old. All the guys are old.
It's almost like you have to draft a good player. All right,
Giannis,
so you
Victor Oladipo. Okay, fine. Anyway,
you're saying Miami.
Oh yeah, so I think that's going to be a really good series. I'd say Miami in 6. What do you think?
I'm going Pacers in 7.
Ooh, Pacers don't. I mean, first of all, T.J. Warren has looked awesome in the 8-game regular season, but do they have? They don't have a lot right now. Is Oladipo injured or he's healthy?
I think that's kind of like we'll see what happens in the playoffs.
I just don't think they have a lot on this team right now.
I think they got a pretty.
I mean, they're good.
Team.
They got what's his name is injured. The center they have. I can't remember anyone's name. I'm sorry.
Turner or Sabonis?
Sabonis is injured.
That's huge. I didn't even know that.
That's huge.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you think T.J. Warren is going to play off like out of his mind the way he's been doing the last couple games this season?
Yeah, he did it all regular season too. Not just the 8-game. He did it the whole season.
How did Phoenix just give this player away? And how can the Knicks never be there when they give these players away? They're like, here's a really good player. Hey, we're busy signing Bobby Portis. We can't be bothered to take your young superstar.
$10.8 million. He's 26. Knicks didn't want any part of that. They wanted $18 million for Portis. He averaged.
But does Bobby Portis really get $18 million, or are you just like fucking with me?
I will look that up in a second. Warren averaged 20 points a game.
On a field goal percentage, like dream like.
Sorry, thank you, website. And he shot 54% from the field and 40% from 3.
54%. You know what that is? That's double what Frank Ntilikina shoots every year.
Yeah, that's like Ntilikina's cumulative field goal percentage for his career.
If T.J. Warren came to the Knicks and he did that, Knicks fans would like be building a statue. They'd be like, places where they're tearing down statues, we're gonna put a T.J. Warren statue in their place. Holy crap. Okay, so why are the? Oh, by the way, going back to Toronto series? How does Toronto blow it?
Toronto blows it by they decide to not play defense anymore.
They play. They're a hell of a defensive.
They're
a hell of a coach team. They play fantastic defense. So much length on that team. The only way they lose is Kyrie and KD say, "Screw it, we're back," and they push it to 7 and they win.
The Knicks gave Bobby Portis $15 million.
Holy crap! And I know there's also lots of other bad contracts and whatever. He's gone next year. It's just like, holy crap.
I mean, yeah. I mean, when guys like Warren were going for 10, it's like, come on.
Well, he was a trade, but like they trade him for almost nothing.
Yeah.
It was a salary dump, and the Knicks were like, "We cannot do a salary dump. We have to give away to Ellington $10 million."
But instead, on the salary dump they took was Harkless instead.
I mean, the Knicks roster is a salary dump.
Yeah.
But
well, it's a dump.
Okay. Yeah, it's a dump. Okay, Miami. Okay, so why do you think the Pacers are going to win? I'm taking Miami in 6. You're taking Indiana in what? 6?
7.
7?
Yeah.
Okay. Why?
I just think they have more. Well, I was going to say depth until I found out Sabonis was injured.
I mean, look at Miami's shot. They have so many shooters in that team. Duncan Robinson, Nunn. They got Jimmy Butler. They have a hell of a team.
Yeah, I mean, Indiana's got a good defensive team. They're big. They're going to be able to guard the paint. So
extremely well coached.
It's going to be close. I mean, I'm saying Pacers in 7, but like that's almost a toss up.
That's why I think the Toronto series is going to be a really great series. Them in Miami. I think it's going to be one of the better series.
Yeah, I mean, either Toronto, Pacers, or Heat. I think it's going to be really good.
If I'm going to say of the teams to go to the final, I think Milwaukee's the favorite from the West. I mean, from the East. But I would say Milwaukee, Toronto, or Miami are the teams I would look at. I would say as far as my power rankings in the East, I'd put Miami second.
Wow.
Yeah,
So,
I don't believe in the Celtics.
So you're dismissing. Okay, we'll go into that. Celtics, Sixers.
So Sixers, they're without Ben Simmons. Oh, but how does Indiana blow it? I'll say the Heat blow it. TJ Warren goes off, and Miami just cannot hit a three. If their 3-point shooting just goes off, they can't hit the threes they normally hit.
And Pacers, Sabonis doesn't come back, and Oladipo still looks like garbage.
Okay.
They're going to need a good Oladipo series.
Yeah.
Okay, so Celtics, Sixers.
So they played today. Celtics won. Sixers are without Ben Simmons, which is kind of a big deal.
Yeah, I probably would have picked the Celtics even if Simmons was there. Without Simmons, he's out for the whole series, right?
Yeah, not for the whole series. He's gone.
I would say
not just done for the series. The only way Philly wins this is Embiid plays out of his mind. And do you think Embiid's a guy that can take over a series? Even though he's talented enough, do you think he's going to be the guy that takes over a series?
I think he could take over a game, a couple games, but I don't think he could take over a whole series.
Like, he has the talent to be one of the best players in the NBA, but he's like, first of all, they always say this on the Simmons podcast. Like anytime Embiid wants to pull up and shoot a three or anything from long, God bless him. Just shoot all day.
Yeah.
Because why in God's name is he even doing that?
Yeah. He's not that
so
good,
good around the rim. Yeah. Stop it. Stop pulling up.
I'm going Celtics in 6.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds reasonable to me. I would say Celtics in 5, but the Celtics should run over Philly here. I mean, not run over.
I mean, you still have Tobias Harris and Horford.
They got Josh Richardson.
Yeah.
Horford is a bit washed up.
Yeah.
I don't think their team. They got Kyle Quinn, so that they got the cock.
The thing is, Philly to max out like 4 guys, they really hurt their depth. So that's where Boston's really going to take over, I would think.
Well, it doesn't work out so poorly if those 4 guys can play. But when one of them can't play, one of the key guys in the team can't play.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, if you have a stacked, top-loaded team like that, they all have to be healthy, or you're really, really hurting after that.
I mean, people have said also, like, should Philly trade Ben Simmons and just build around Embiid? Do they not go together well? I think this kind of series will prove that, or not prove, but it should make Philly think, no, we do not get rid of Ben Simmons. We need to make these guys work together.
Yeah.
I don't see them going anywhere without both of them healthy. Boston is insanely deep, but I don't believe in a team. I don't believe in Enes Kanter. Kemba's great. They have a very good team. I don't believe in them to make the finals. Basically, that's all. I don't think they're better than Miami. I don't think they're better than Toronto.
Fair.
What do you think? If you had to rank the teams, where would you put them? Where would you put the top 4?
Top 4, I would put obviously Bucks and then Raptors. After that, it gets tough. I would probably go. Is Sabonis out the whole?
I thought he's out.
Yeah, that changes things.
I mean, you really seem to like Sabonis a lot.
I think he's a huge part of what they do.
If Sabonis plays, they're winning the title.
I would still put Celtics 3, and Heat or Pacers 4. I mean, I picked Pacers to win, so I guess I got to go Pacers. But so basically, the standings.
Okay, that's a hell of a.
I think the standings really reflected the talent this year.
Doesn't it reflect the talent every year? By the way,
no. There's sometimes a team that is kind of playing over their head, and they're not going to do anything.
By the way, T.J. Warren has plantar fasciitis, but he's playing. But he has that on his foot, so that doesn't really help. Sabonis has also plantar fasciitis, which apparently is like you can catch from your teammates. And there's no timetable for his return.
Okay, so that's going well.
I don't see Indiana winning this series. I just don't. I don't see it. Yeah, I don't see it. But what's the next series? Oh, Boston. So you said Boston in 6. I agree. How does Boston blow it?
Boston blows it by, I guess, injuries. They have some injury-prone players, right?
It's got to be Embiid just like finally stepping up.
Yeah, or that, or Embiid just goes absolutely berserk.
Yeah, that's he's got to pull like he's got to become like Shaq basically, and just take over a goddamn series.
Yeah.
So if he's gonna put the team on his back and just take over and go like, "Hey, I'm getting 40 tonight, and we're gonna goddamn dominate." I also don't think. I mean, obviously compared to us normal human beings, he's in an amazing shape. But I think compared to like other top NBA players, Embiid could be in better shape.
Absolutely. He seems to get gassed. That's why I don't think he can take over a series. He seems to get gassed, and with this every other day schedule, he might get worn down halfway through a series.
Yeah. So, that's what I don't see. Like, I think if Embiid had like the insane work ethic where he became in better shape and he was ready, like if he just was in better shape, I'd be like, okay, this guy's going to dominate here. But I don't see it. That's also part of the problem with Philly is you got the guy you're as much as you like Simmons is amazing, and Embiid's the guy you're like really like this guy's got to carry us. And he's like he comes to practice, you're like, do you want to lose a few pounds?
Right.
By the way, the other thing I have to say for the Pacers Heat series, Butler's a hell of a defender, and I feel like he will neutralize Warren or Oladipo, which is going to kill you.
Yeah, that could be a problem. I think you're selling me on the Heat.
Yeah, I think the Heat. I think they have the fact that these guys like Nunn and Duncan Robinson came out of nowhere. They have a really hell of a team now. They just have a lot of shooters, and I mean, I kind of hate how the NBA is just like shooters. I think they need to improve. They need to fix the 3-point line. You got to move it back a little bit or something because it's too many teams firing too many 3-pointers. It makes the game less fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, it's like every team plays the same style now.
Right. If you move the 3-point line back a little bit, maybe just I don't know, widen the court a little bit so you can move it back 3 feet. So now everyone shoots a little bit lower percentage, so it's not an obvious shot anymore.
Yeah. All right, we're running out of time. Lakers,
okay.
Lakers, Blazers.
Okay, done with that series. What's next? How did the Lakers blow it?
They don't.
It's going to go 4. I know everyone's like, oh, Lillard, so he's amazing. He's going to this. Portland cannot play defense. They have no chance against the Lakers.
I think they steal 1 game.
Maybe if Lillard goes crazy, they steal 1 game. Fine. I'm going to say 4. You're going to say 5. The way they blow it, LeBron decides for his image. He's going to go participate in the protest instead.
All right.
Anthony Davis says, this is the time of year I get injured.
Yeah, exactly. Clippers, Mavericks.
Clippers, Dallas. This is going to be I think it's going to be a really hell. By the way, Dallas is up by 3 in halftime. Clippers are loaded. I say Clippers in 6. What do you think?
Yeah, that sounds about right. I mean, Clippers are just so deep.
But Doncic's awesome.
I don't know why everyone is going nuts about Zion and there's not a 24-hour Luka watch. The guy, he went like, 29-9-9 in his second year in the league? Like, everyone went absolutely berserk when Westbrook did that in his, 12th year in the league.
Do you think it's because Doncic's not American? I mean, he's simple, like we like the Americans better?
It could be. I mean, I don't see any other reason why people aren't going nuts over Luka.
Then again, Greek Freak is not American, and they're starting to go crazy over him. But it's not the hype they have on LeBron.
But by the way, Westbrook did that with the whole team helping him and padding his stats by basically boxing their opponents out but not grabbing the rebound so Westbrook could get it. Like Luka's legit getting all his stats.
Yeah, no, Luka's he's goddamn awesome. You were right when you said the Knicks should get Luka.
I don't know why they don't listen to me.
Well, it's not like they had a chance because they didn't tank properly that year. But
I know.
But you were right. Yeah. Anyway, Luka's going to make a series out of this. Mavericks have enough weapons that they could steal a game or steal 2 games. This is going to be a tighter series than it's going to be a little bit of a wake up call for Clippers to start the year, to start the playoffs.
Yep.
We did the Lakers. Anyone else? Or are we good?
The only other one's Rockets Thunder.
That I think is going to be a pretty good series. That's kind of a dream series because you like of all the matchups you want to see Rockets and Thunder play each other, right?
Yeah, I mean, because now you have Westbrook on the Rockets, and
yeah. Westbrook's not playing the first game, right?
No, he's not.
Okay. I'm going to say the only upset I'm going to pick. I'm going to say the Thunder take this series in 7.
That was mine. I was going to do Thunder in 7 too. I think.
Yeah.
I think they're a better built team. They're not as dependent on one player, and I would just think it would be hilarious if Harden crumbled in the playoffs again.
Oh, I would love to see them lose. Yeah, I also think the Westbrook move, like Houston's going to go small. They're like Westbrook's going to be their center, or like PJ Tucker's going to be their center, which is interesting. But I don't know if that works in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Okay, couple questions, real quick. How much time do we have left?
We have 12 minutes, and we have a couple emails too.
Okay, I'll do Facebook, then you go to email.
Yep.
Alejandro writes, realistic free agent targets you'd like to see the Knicks add this offseason, like Jeremy Grant and Kelly Oubre.
Yes to both of those.
Jeremy Grant is highly athletic, so that'd be helpful. Kelly Oubre he's fine. If the Knicks add these guys, you'll be like, yay.
I mean, it would be a step. It'd be an improvement over their current players.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Frank writes, 4 years from now, when the Trump is finishing up his second term, James Dolan decides to sell the Knicks. On January 21st, 2025, it's announced that Donald Trump has purchased the Knicks. Is this a lateral move? Would you cease to be a Knicks fan? And he says, side note, I'm not endorsing a presidential candidate. I just think Trump is going to win a second term. So what do you think? How do you feel that Trump takes over for Dolan?
I mean, I feel like it would be a similar situation where people don't like playing for him, but he's willing to spend money because he's got an ego and losing isn't something he wants to do. So I feel like it would just be like Dolan Part 2.
Do you think he's willing to spend money? I don't even know.
I think he would.
I know
be willing...
he's a crazy rich guy and his ego is big. So
yeah, I think the ego would outweigh the spending in this case.
I mean, he did a football league, didn't go well. He bankrupts everything, including our country currently. He'd probably bankrupt the Knicks, and he'd probably like if he owned the Knicks right now, he'd be telling you things like he'd just be talking up like he'd be like Bobby Portis, we signed him, we got the best player in the NBA. He's goddamn amazing. He's unbelievable. We got Bobby Portis. Then as soon as Bobby Portis sucks, he goes, he's a loser. I said he was a loser the whole time. He's terrible.
It's Obama's fault.
Bobby Portis is he's a traitor to our country.
He's
like I think that's good. I just don't think that's going to be helpful for a team.
Probably not. No.
I would say this, if anything, is a well. If Trump had not been president, then maybe it's a lateral move. I think this would be a severe downgrade.
Downgrade over Dolan. Found somebody that you think would be worse.
As bad as, could you imagine Trump like calling players names on like Twitter? I mean, how much of a disaster would it be? He'd kick people out of the arena. Do you think Dolan's bad at kicking guys out of the arena? Trump would do that all the time.
Yeah.
Everything. He would do everything awful.
All right. Next.
Okay. Rob writes, do you guys believe that there will be any real challenge to the franchise while Dolan is still the owner? any real change to the franchise while Dolan is still the owner, or do we just delude ourselves with false hope?
I don't know. I think they'd have to get really, really lucky in the draft for there to be some real change.
Yeah. I mean, I do think if he just hires the right guys, the team. I don't think Dolan holds the franchise back as much as people say. In the sense that if he hires the right people and drafts the right people, like things will just work out better.
Right,
it's not his fault. He's not drafting these players.
No, but he hires the people that make the bad decisions.
Right, but he's not doing the best job of hiring people.
Yeah, and he's hired bad people like the whole time he's been here. The only person he hired that was good was Donnie Walsh, and he sabotaged him.
Right. If Dolan just said, I want to build the team right, and they'd be like, the boss says we're going to try to draft and develop players. Instead of this bullshit they do. Every 2 years, they're like, got to chase a big star because Dolan's in charge, and it's New York.
Yeah.
I guess our current hope is that Rose knows more about, obviously knows a lot about basketball. Maybe he's not the big star chaser we're led to believe he is.
Right.
Tristan writes, are you guys going to do an emergency podcast episode after the draft lottery for when we end up with the 8th overall pick?
We'll see where we pick and what our mindset is at that point.
Eugene writes, what can we do to get this asshole Dolan to sell the team?
I don't think there's anything we could do to get him to sell. I think he's the type of person where now that people are asking him to sell, he's going to dig his heels in even more and not sell.
You know, they were saying how like Dolan possibly just more interested in the music side of things, and he's gonna focus on that side of things, and maybe he'd sell the Knicks for that reason.
Mm-hmm.
And now there's no music, there's no live performances, so he's even more focused on the Knicks probably.
Mm.
At least he can't kick anyone out of the arena when the Knicks are playing anymore.
True.
So there's a positive. Can the Knicks? Do you think the Knicks can win under Dolan?
The proof says no.
The evidence, you mean?
Yeah, the evidence says no.
Okay. But have other teams won with bad owners?
I'm sure there has been. I can't think of any. I'm sure there has been.
Did you know that like the Golden State Warriors for the last 5 years were owned by the president of Syria?
Oh no, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he owned the Golden State Warriors. So similar type owners, and everything worked out fine there. He's worse than Dolan. So
all right.
I bet you didn't realize that the president of Syria was allowed to own the Golden State Warriors.
No, I didn't.
Go to the emails.
Okay, Mr. C writes,
and the coronavirus actually owns the Clippers. So just letting you know. So Dolan's not even the worst owner at all. The president of Syria is a terrible owner. The coronavirus, terrible owner also.
Let's see, the title of this email is Oldies and Averages. Hi guys, what do you think about the Knicks media hyping up signing old players who will be out of the league within 3 years like CP3 and Melo, and getting upset about not re-signing mediocre bench players like Trier and Dotson? Love the shows. Thank you, Mr. C.
Yeah. I don't understand the should the Knicks sign Melo?
No.
How is it even a question how do people even pretend this is a good idea? The last time he was on the team, the Knicks fans were dying to get rid of him. And now he's 3 years older.
Yeah, I don't get what people seem to have forgotten how much they didn't like him.
And by the way, why Chris Paul, is there any way the Knicks get Chris Paul without having to give up a lot to get him?
No. Jorge writes, thoughts on the initial report saying that the Mavericks were really interested in Tim Hardaway Jr. and that KP was a throw-in. And so he linked us to an article. It says, Dallas called New York first about Tim Hardaway Jr. That was who they wanted. That's when New York said, what do you think about Porzingis? And, this is what Hardaway's dad said. And
holy crap!
And then they threw Tim in the deal. People are going to say.
So what he's basically saying, obviously, it's not that KP was a throw-in. It was just like Dallas thought they could get Hardaway, and they're like, while you're on the phone, what would you give us for KP? And they made the deal about KP.
So they ended up starting saying we can only get Hardaway. There's no way they'll give us KP, and they ended up with both because Knicks.
I mean, the Knicks could have gotten at least one of those draft picks for KP.
Yeah.
And he was like the Knicks. Do you think that's true? I mean, why would Hardaway? Why would his dad lie?
I mean, anytime it's a bad trade rumor, I pretty much believe it.
Yeah. And the Knicks were like, well, I mean, like Dallas is on the phone, their GM, and we don't know any other GMs, so why don't we just go with this? We called around they probably had offered. They're like, we offered Hardaway to 8 teams. It was probably like Dallas Mavericks, and the other 7 teams were like random, like wrong numbers.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like someone called about getting a Knicks plan, like a ticket plan. They're like, what could you give us for KP? I'm trying to buy tickets to see KP. Oh, do you have the number to the Celtics?
Jason writes, hey, fellas, do you know of any bars in the city that are showing NBA games on outdoor screens?
I have not been to the city since March. Jay lives in the city. Jay, are there any bars near you? Well, Jay's also as petrified as you can be about COVID, so he's probably not. Jay probably has not been outside since March. I know Jay goes out once a day, not to exaggerate, but he does go out once a day. Do you know any bars in your neighborhood that are showing the games outside?
I don't know. There's a place, Catch in Astoria that it's a sports bar, and they do have an outdoor area, so they might have figured out how to get a screen out there.
I mean, there was like those beer gardens in Queens. They had a big outdoor space. You'd think they might show like a game.
Yeah, I think the beer garden by me got shut down.
Oh, like they opened up and got shut down for not social distancing?
Yeah.
I can't believe a beer garden wouldn't work out during these times.
Yeah, actually, I just read it. They got their license suspended.
I like that place.
For violating coronavirus rules.
I feel like we're going to like just talk memory lane about all these places we used to like in the city that are out of business now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I do not know. I have no idea.
All right. We are out of time. We got one more email, but it's long, so we'll get to a next episode. So
on an emergency episode, will we cover after the draft lottery? Emergency episode.
Maybe. Thanks for listening. Are you going
to release this episode before the draft lottery?
Yeah.
Fans demand the episode to be released right now, Jay.
Well, fans of sleep demand that I go to sleep. So thanks for listening, everybody. We'll be back soon. NY Knicks Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Patreon.
Quick question. From 1 to 10, how angry will you be if KP beats the Clippers in this series?
I won't be mad. I mean, I thought it was a dumb trade at the time. And if he does that, then it just proves that I'm right.
Okay. That's big of you. I'm a bitter person, so.
You just want him to like tear his ACL again?
No injury. I just don't want him to be that great.
You just want him to shoot 30% and get 4 rebounds a game?
Yeah, so I don't feel so bad about how dumb the
All right.
Is this Pizza Hut? Can we trade you KP? No? Okay, we have to go with the Mavericks' best offer.
All right. We'll be back soonish. All right, goodbye, everybody.
Bye, love. Goodbye, everybody. It's all over. Goodbye. It's time to go. This is the end. Say goodbye. You better go away. I'm gonna Just leave me alone. Feels so good to say